Here it goes. And hello.
We're back.
Hello.
Hello.
We're back. Hello.
Hello.
Stop share button.
Oh,
We're all here but Chris.
Almost.
yeah.
Here we come. Here we go.
Hey.
Hey.
Woohoo.
Love this new Zoom format.
Better late than never.
Better late than never. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Thought we didn't pay our Zoom bill, but we did, I guess. But just a little bit.
Yeah.
Happened. Anyway, okay. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Sunday night offering of astronomy edutainment, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show.
Yay.
My name is Chris Curran. I'm the creator of the social media channels known as Astronomy by the Bay. I'm an amateur astronomer and also a member of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. Yay. I'd like to welcome back my two regular co-hosts this evening, Mr. Paul Owen from the Moonshadow Observatory in beautiful Hampton. Paul.
Hello
Hey.
there.
And Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in St. John. Mike.
Hey. Oh, hello.
And we'd like to welcome all of you tonight from YouTube and Facebook land, and and all of you that are joining us through the local Rogers TV network. Thank you for your support. Okay, on tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Astronomy Show, now it's our last program before we take a short summer break. So tonight is casual night. We're going to chat a little bit about some coming up outreach opportunities. I'd love to hear your plans too for stargazing for the rest of the summer. We'll also discuss a few coming celestial events to mark on your calendar. And what else am I going to do? Let's look at page 2. Oh, we're going to be happy to take any of your questions regarding stargazing and equipment. So
Yes.
that's what we're going to be tonight. Also, Vinyl Bud will be back with another fine summer binocular target of the week. Rosanna has a nice, interesting, another amazing fun fact episode to share with us.
She does.
And I'll have all of your wonderful photo submissions to share as well. So let's get started, guys, with a little bit of discussion around the remaining days of summer,
Remaining days of summer.
which aren't much.
Dog days of summer? Is that what they call it?
Nice to see some nice weather again. We can actually see some things at night.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah. Last night was a nice night. I mean, you are getting a little bit of the smoke that's traveled across the country there. We saw some of that last night.
Yeah.
Did make for a nice sunset.
What a gorgeous sunset.
And the moonrise. Did you guys see the moonrise?
No.
Last night, no, missed it. It was quite late.
It was unbelievable.
Was it? Yeah.
Of course, it's in the waiting phase now, but as it was coming up, it was so dim and so orange.
Oh, really?
It's unbelievable because of the smoke, right?
Yeah.
And,
Right, yeah.
Wow, but so it looked just like the sun, because when we were going to do that outreach last night, I noticed the sun setting as I was driving across this bridge. I was telling Chris about it.
Hmm.
And man, it's just like, oh, I mean, smoke, we don't like to see the fires, but
Of course.
the only good thing from it is the photography options, because it
Yeah.
just creates such amazing colors in
Yeah.
the sun and moon. So
Yeah, for sure. What's everybody else got planned for the rest of the summer out there? First of all, are you going to join us at any of the star parties coming up? We do have a couple of star parties. We're going to talk about those a little bit at the end of the show. Actually, there's 3 star parties, yes, and there's also 4 local parties as well. So we'll talk about all that stuff. We're going to save, I guess, till the end of the program. So
yeah,
I'll get a little bit of, I got a few tips on stargazing that you can take a look at, and what's coming up in August, including there's a nice Mars Jupiter conjunction coming up, and also the Perseid meteor shower is coming up. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that comet coming in October. That's what I'm looking forward to.
yeah,
Now it's
yeah,
already
we'll
up
make
to,
it
I
to
think
us.
it's at an 8.9 or something now, so it's
Wow.
moving in the right direction.
Yep.
Still pretty dim, but in the right direction for sure. Mark Ficken says he's going to Starfest. Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed.
Mark, he is. Yes, he is. We've been chatting back and forth, Mark and I. That's great. I'd love to get up to that Starfest. It's the one in Canada to see, I guess, right?
That's the one in Ontario, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's kind of like the Canadian NEAF almost.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
It says I live in California. I really don't like the smoke. I bet for sure.
there you go.
Sherry says she catches every sunrise. I'm an early bird. There you go. They're always nice to watch. Um, Not a lot of people to catch sunrises. More sunsets than sunrises, but sunrises are the anticipation part just kills you. You know, you're waiting for that moment to come, and
Yeah,
it's up and it's over with like that.
yeah.
Robert says Fundy National Park, so there you go. What do you guys got planned?
Well,
What would you like to talk about?
it's funny, you know, we're taking the show off, so to speak, for a few weeks. But we're gonna actually be busier than we have been with all the upcoming events that's going out. But it's exciting because it's nice to get away from the screen and out under the stars.
Yeah.
And over the last couple of nights of just by experience, I've been rather humbled by taking a Dobsonian out and a book and a red light and looking at my book and trying to figure out where things are in the sky. Because being an astrophotographer or imaging in general, you get really, really lazy because you're never really under the sky anymore. You know, you just basically go out to your observatory, roll over on a roof, push a few buttons, go back in the house, connect to a computer, and then you do your thing, and then you go watch a movie. So you really don't see or learn anything. If your equipment's set up properly and you have faith in it.
I could never get into that, go to bed and wake up and see what I got. I just stay up and watch it slowly on the screen for endless hours.
Yeah. I did that for years, and then what's the point?
Well, I mean, I love watching it. I just keep saying, and then of course I get bored and go, all right, that's enough of that picture. I'm going to move to another target because I got to see something.
Yeah.
But
I even thought of putting a second scope in the observatory just to do that.
that's something to do. Yeah, well, Emil up in Richard, where's that? Bucktouche.
Yeah.
He used to do that. Would have to be do observing or imaging, but he had a telescope as well and keep himself entertained. Because once it's up and running, and if you set it up and it's working, you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, of course not.
That's the nice part. But what you don't learn is the sky, and that's what, even with our software now with plate solving, we don't even have to know what stars to align with anymore. Because you remember when the first telescopes come out, you'd have to know, okay, well, you got to know at least some of the bright stars to be able to, okay, it wants you to point to Vega. What's Vega?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know that one. Okay. Well, what about this one? Well, that's not in my field of view because it's below the horizon where I'm at. So what about that? And if you don't know them, and honestly, I went through that when I started out, and then I got into the imaging side of things, and I just got really lazy, and I've got eyepieces here that I didn't even know I had. And the last couple of nights, I just grabbed the Dob and I said, you know what? I'm going totally manual, no batteries, no screens, let my eyes dark adapt, and then just try to enjoy the sky just the way I used to when I first got into this hobby. And I got to tell you, it's humbling because I forgot a lot.
Yeah.
So
you get complacent, right?
yeah, that's it. So with what's going on this summer, with the star parties coming up, that's kind of my game plan is to bring a Dobsonian, and that's what I'm going to bring. And then I don't worry about batteries. It's just a big old tube. Just do my collimation before I start, and I'm gonna have a ball with that old Dob.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give a little nudge every 10 seconds so it stays on target.
That's
Away
it.
you go.
Yeah. It's so much fun. I know, Chris, when you go out to the beach, for the longest time, you didn't bring anything electronic.
Oh, just
No, I
about.
didn't. Like if I'm going to a star party event, normally I'll bring my 11-inch CPC, just because mostly because it can track. So if I've got a line of people and I'm showing Saturn, or
Yeah.
Saturn's always the big one anyway. But if you're showing an object like that, you can say, okay, great, you saw it. Next, and you might have look behind you, have 30 or 40, 50 people behind you. So to nudge it every time, somebody steps up, you got to nudge it again, and
Yeah.
it's kind of a pain at a star party event. But for just setting up at Saints Crest Beach, and 10 or 20 or 30 people show up,
Yeah.
sure. And even at the nature park, when we go to the Irving Nature Park, that's
Yeah.
another great spot, because you usually have 15 or so telescopes set up, so you get lots of people with lots of astronomers with scopes, and lots of people too. But they stay for a few hours, so you get lots of time to move around at different targets. So yeah, the Dob is always great because you're the first one to start looking at stuff.
Yeah.
Right. That's like Kurt last night. He had already had Arcturus in his eyepiece, long
Yeah.
before anybody else could even see
He
it.
gets that before the sun sets.
Oh,
That's
he-
for
Yeah,
sure.
he does.
He
Yeah.
knows where it is before the sun sets. Yeah, that guy. But he's picking out, he's picking out targets, and he's already shown half a dozen people stuff. Oh, it was the same thing last night with me, Paul. I was using my 8, and I was having trouble last night with my 8 SE. It's an electronic telescope, but the connection point was loose, and
Yeah.
I was getting a poor connection. So every few seconds it would reset. It would reset. It just kept resetting. So I could never get it to the point where it would align. Finally, I took a piece of tape and I wrapped it up and held it really tight. And then I tried to do an alignment, and it kept failing with 3 or 4 times. So what did I do? I grabbed my manual scope out of the car, set that up, and it's okay. At least I got a backup plan. Because
Yeah.
once your go-to goes down, you're in. I mean, on the evolution model, no, you can release the clutch, but most of them have locked clutches, so you cannot do anything else. You're stuck.
Yeah.
Um, so that's, yeah, with the Dobsonians, you've got the opportunity to glance around and learn the sky, like you said.
Yeah.
It's one thing to know the constellation, but it's to look inside that constellation for all the treasures that are in there.
Yeah.
That's what you
Or
go after.
learning to start hop. Because I
Yeah.
mean, to be honest, like I've imaged probably everything that's up there to a certain point. Certainly all the brighter stuff, all the globs and all the loose clusters and things like that.
Hmm.
But to actually find them, well, I'm gonna tell you, it's like, okay, you're not as smart as you thought you were, Mr. Owen.
But even simple binoculars, even out with binoculars themselves, if you're going to take a look at, look at the Milky Way with binoculars, check out the Pleiades star cluster, look at the double cluster and Perseus, and objects like that you can pick up easily. The moon,
Yeah.
you can find your way around, picture that constellation, take a look at that constellation. You can see anything that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you will find lots, especially down around Sagittarius too, where it's down around the southern part of the sky.
Yeah.
There's lots to see with just binoculars coming up out of the teapot and in that path that you see going across that big band.
Yeah.
So you don't
I
necessarily
got
need a telescope.
I got 56 specific targets you can look at with binoculars.
There you go. Yeah, just go back and watch every episode we had.
That you know of.
See now, Larissa says I catch more sunrises and sunsets working super early in the morning. Yeah. Charlie says he's bringing his 10-inch go-to dog to Mount Carlton. There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I may end up bringing a 12-inch dog too.
We may have a 16-inch in Mount
That's the
Carlton.
thing. Depending on
Yeah.
let's hope the weather's on our side. That's number
That's
one.
the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for-
So it's a good site. Well, I think you've used it before, Mike.
Yeah, I've looked through it before. I wouldn't say I used it, but I have seen through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a truss rod type of thing. So,
Yeah.
But anyway, but it's a Dobsoni. It's a big one, and I remember the first time I saw the veil. I saw the veil through it, and this scope was kind of a tall one, so you got to get a ladder to get up to the top of it. And I saw the veil through it, and with an O3 filter, man, I'm telling you, it was such a thrill.
It's
saw
crying
that.
for a set of bino viewers. I know that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about, yeah. I wonder, yeah, well, certain Dobsonians, you can use binder viewers in those.
Yeah, it's just
I had a
letting it
collapsible
back
one that
focus.
will go back so that you could use the binder viewers with it, eh?
You get the back focus, yeah.
It'd be
Yeah.
worth a shot anyway. Definitely.
Yeah,
It's these next 2 months that are coming up too that are the better months, August, September. We're already now starting to see the sun setting earlier.
Yeah.
I know, but it's that end of August, 1st of September time when the sun is going down earlier, but you still have the nice warm temperatures that that everybody seems to enjoy. And that's why we kind of set up our star parties, around that time too,
Around
because
that time,
in August is usually clear, clear skies. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
looking
keep in
forward
mind
to
too,
it.
the Milky Way is pretty much overhead now, but when it gets dark.
Yes.
So like
Right.
this is a really good time now to go look at north-south on the Milky Way. So,
Yeah.
but I did notice last night it was kind of hard to see north, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was, yeah.
The hill behind you?
It was
Well,
so
there was
much
a big
light.
street light and
Oh.
yeah, it's the
Yeah,
street
yeah.
lights that get you.
Yeah, too
But
much
yeah,
light.
there was some smoke too, so
I'll
yeah.
tell you, the first event that I'm looking forward to might be on Sunday or Tuesday night with this
Yeah, Aurora.
all the solar activity in this Aurora that might come on Tuesday
Yeah,
night.
Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, I was just looking at reports just before we came live here. I was looking at a couple of websites, and NOAA now has predicted a G3, which is a strong level storm
Yeah.
for tomorrow. I believe it's tomorrow night into Tuesday morning. That could change a little bit, but what's happened is there have been several solar flares on the sun today, larger ones, M class, just below the X class. And there's actually an X14 on the other side of the sun today.
Yeah.
So that would have been crazy if that had been facing us. But this number of solar flares has produced a number of CMEs, these coronal mass ejections, these big clouds of plasma that leave the sun when these explosions happen. And there's the one that's traveling fairly slow, and then it's kind of like what happened last time around back in May. It was a cannibal CME. So one caught up to the other and had absorbed it, and that made for that one big wave that came in back on May the 10th. Now there's not just that, but there's several others apparently behind that. So there could be 3 to 4 or 5. So they're saying for the next 48 to 72 hours, keep an eye out on the
Yeah.
level. So of your BZ, remember, check your BZ level, make sure it's at a negative point. Your solar wind speed has to be up. It takes a lot more than just NOAA announcing that there's a chance for aurora.
Yeah.
You have to look at the numbers and determine what time is best to go out. Of course, we've got a moon that's coming up after midnight now, so if it does come in the evening sky, we should be in good shape. I don't know what the weather's calling for. I heard cloudy showers, I think, for most of the week here, but
yeah, yeah.
Just,
course.
like I said, I'm look on, make it Tuesday night clear and give me something. The other
There you
part
go.
is the existing sunspots that are on the sun are actually still growing. They haven't kind of stopped growing or started dimming. They're actually getting bigger.
Yeah.
So we might,
they're facing Earth right now too.
yeah, we might have an opportunity here for some real nice shows if we get lucky.
Yeah. Well, if
So
it's
it's always that.
like we saw in May,
What's that?
we can see another display like we saw in May.
Oh,
Oh man,
I
awesome.
mean, May, I think they only called for G3 originally. Well, it was G2 originally, then it went to 3, and then it got to 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an amazing show. That
Oh man. Well, I saw it out on the other side of the country, and it was just
Fingers crossed.
unbelievable. I've never seen an aurora like that. That was the largest, most colorful, most full sky aurora I've ever seen.
and they're very, very difficult to predict. Like even when they're talking about a CME coming, we really don't know till about the hour before it comes because it hits the spacecraft called DSCOVR, so Discover spacecraft. That's what gets the information of the solar wind and the BZ and stuff as it's moving in. So you've only got really about an hour warning for something to be happening.
Yeah.
And again, they could hit us and bounce off, or our magnetic field may not be aligned properly to be able to accept it. So there's all kinds of other factors that take place. So it's more than just the G number or the KP number to look at. But
Yeah.
keep our fingers crossed that we're going to get more shows like that, I'm sure, because we're still heading up to solar maximum. We're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Dan says I'm attending the California Dark Sky Fest in November coming up. It's
Wow.
camping here near Death Valley. It's camping near Death Valley. Okay, dark skies, he says. I need a recommendation on a DSLR camera that won't break the bank. Paul, any suggestions?
Oh, well, I mean, that's, I mean, everything works well today. It depends on what you're trying to shoot. Are you shooting just the camera through a lens, or are you shooting through a telescope?
Hmm.
That question goes back to
Back to Dan. Okay, so I'll see if Dan comments here. And Mark was saying again, Ross Hamilton is bringing a 36-inch stop to Starfest. There you go.
Wow.
I hate heights, he says. Yeah,
Wow.
you'll be climbing a ladder for that one.
Yes, sir.
I think,
Burgess says,
how big was that one you looked at, Mike, that had, you saw Jupiter and you didn't want to get down?
Oh, that was a 36 Obsession.
Wow.
Yeah.
36-inch Obsession. Yeah, it was huge. Just a monster. Yeah, and I got up the ladder and there was no way. When I saw those eddy currents on Jupiter curling backwards in bino viewers, like Dankmeyer bino viewers, just it was the best of the best of the best. And it was like, whoa,
Yeah.
oh. And they had to kick the ladder to get me down. Yeah.
well, it's rare that you can actually pump up the magnification around this part of the country.
Dan says he's using a lens, just a lens.
Oh, just a lens?
Yeah.
Well, I guess, you know, how do you define what breaks the bank?
We don't want to get a modified. Get a,
No. Just
obviously an unmodified camera, just a
you
DSLR.
can just get a regular DSLR,
Yep.
or if mirrorless are more expensive than DSLR. To be honest, now is a really good time to buy a secondhand DSLR.
Yep.
Something like what do you got, Mike? You
I
just
got
pick
7 of them.
Yeah, well, that's it. But you can go to Canon, and any of their EOS line
That's
is
right.
good.
They're pretty good prices.
If you can get a full frame, which you can get a very easily now, you can pick up a full frame for easily $500 to $700. Will buy you a really good full frame camera. Make sure that your camera that you get has what they call an articulating screen. That means that the screen on the back moves and twists, so that depending on where you are angling for whatever it is you're trying to shoot, so that you're comfortable, so that you don't have to get down on the ground and try to look at the back of the screen if your screen doesn't articulate. In other words, here's the body of the camera, and then here's your screen, and then some screens will angle any way you want them to. So make sure you get an articulating screen, full frame if you can, and a wide lens, depending on what you're shooting. So if you're going for Milky Way, constellations, you want to do a nice, especially where you're going, there'd be amazing foregrounds. So you'd want to really wide capture that. So you want to get probably anything from say a 10 to, I would go no larger than say a 24mm lens. Anything in that focal length will give you a nice wide swath of the sky. And other than that, that's kind of it. Good tripod, a trigger release if the camera doesn't have a remote timer in it, and make sure you get some good SD cards and some batteries. And even though you're going to be in a warm place, it still gets cold at night. So you may want to consider some, actually, no, you should be pretty dry. I wouldn't worry a whole lot about dew down there, but anyway, that's about it, really. That's kind of what I'd recommend. So you should be able to get something, lens, camera, and everything else, you know, $500 to $700 probably. On
There's lots out
decent.
there on Marketplace that you look at. They come with, kit lenses and things like that. But there's lots of cameras out there, and anything that's Canon in the I series, like T3i, T4i, T5i. The I is the articulating screen, so that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, those. In fact, I've got one right here. This is an old T3i. You can buy these now. If you see one, you could probably pick this up for $100.
Yeah,
I got to tell you, it's one of the first cameras I used for doing astro, and I still use one. This one happens to be modified. That's why I have it, but it's got that articulating screen I'm just telling you about. So the screen can go out any way you want it to. So it makes it real easy to take shots. But don't get too old a camera, because some of the ISO levels only go down up to about 1600. Sometimes for a really easy, quick Milky Way shot, if you've got a lens that's what they call efficient, in other words, the F number on it's really small. The smaller the F number, the wider the aperture will open up, the more light it lets in, so you don't have to expose as long. So make sure that your camera that you have has an ISO level that goes up to probably at least 6400, because some of these older ones like this only go up to 1600.
Yeah, get into the D series, like the 60D, 70D, 80D, and 90D.
Yeah,
they're a little bit higher, on the spectrum, but a very, very nice camera and reasonable prices out there right now for a 60, 70, or 80D.
There you go. Yeah.
Janice says SX70.
I'm not familiar with the SX series.
Yeah, Sony or.
I
wonder if that's a Sony. I don't know what SX. I use Canon, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So Dan back says that's good advice. That's what I'm looking for, and my price range as well. Thanks, Bob. So
Okay,
there we go.
perfect.
Awesome.
Good luck, Dan. I
Bridget says,
envy you going to where you're going.
Yeah.
yeah. Bridget says she likes to go to cottage country, northern NB during the Perseids. Never disappoints. So looking forward to that. So yeah, the Perseid this year is during third quarter moon.
Nice dark sky.
Yeah, so yeah, moon's up after midnight. So should be, I think, or is it third quarter? I have to take a look at my notes. No, it's that first quarter moon. The peak is that first quarter. So the moon will be setting just around midnight. So we should be nice for the Perseids again with weather wise. So
Yeah.
anyway, we've got a lot to talk about, or we got a lot to take a look at. We've got some star parties ourselves that we're going to. Fundy National Park. Our next one will be at Mount Carlton Star Party.
Yep.
On August the 9th and Fundy National Park and Labor Day weekend. And Kuzbaquak has another one too. There's a second star party at Kuzbaquak in September.
And yeah.
Second week of September.
Second week of September. You can
Yeah.
go to rasknb.ca to find the dates of all those events. And then we have
Yeah,
four
so-
events that are planned for the Irving Nature Park this year that start in August.
Yeah, what we do when you plan those star parties, you like to plan them around, and this is something that for those who are going to plan a camping trip and they're planning on going out to do some observing, check your moon phases when you're going to camp. So there's that book that we're going to be giving away at our star party, so 2024 Night Sky Almanac. It has all of the moon phases for every month of the whole year of 2024, and so throughout the whole month you'll know what phase you're at. So if you're planning on going out for observing and camping, think about, if I'm going out, don't go, if you can change it, if you've got the flexibility that move it for a weekend, don't go to a full moon weekend. Full moons are neat to watch come up, but they wash your sky out all night long, so you won't be able to see a whole lot. So if you can plan it around, like Chris was saying, like first quarter, something where the moon either disappears quickly or the other end of the moon where it doesn't come up till like 2 or 3 in the morning. Most times you'll probably be in bed by then anyway. So
yeah,
but that's something to consider.
Moon phase is always important for sure.
Yeah.
She said Janice said a Canon, I guess that SX70. So
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a kind of camera that you can change the lens on, or that's what the question to Janice, is it?
Janice, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. They're a power shot.
Oh, power shot. Okay.
So can you run it manual, Mike? Can you see?
I think you can run a manual, but I don't think the lenses are interchangeable. Is all.
Yeah, well, so just check the width of it, how wide the camera can get. Like the focal length of it. Because if it's a built-in lens, it probably could get fairly wide. And then can you run it manually, and can you run it at least up to 30 seconds on? It probably is, because it sounds like it's a current camera. I would suggest it probably has everything you need, but
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that one, that's all.
Me either, but once I saw power shot, that'll work. Yeah.
They're good, yeah, they're good camera.
Lisa says, I can't make it in person, but my heart will be at Nova East. She said, I had the honor of designing the t-shirt again this year. There you
Oh,
go.
awesome.
Oh, very
Yeah,
nice,
awesome.
wow.
Now, was a hurricane involved, I wonder? Because how many times I went to Nova East, there was a hurricane involved. I think I have 3 of the t-shirts that,
I survived Nova East.
yeah, one chased us away. One, it looks like a galaxy, but it's not. It's a hurricane.
Oh, that's fantastic. So
I
when's
can see myself, I've only been out maybe 4 times this year.
when's Nova East? Does somebody have the date on that?
That I don't have a date on.
I'll have to
2
look that up.
seconds.
Whoever just said they were going, they probably know when it is.
Well, yeah, Lisa would know.
Oh, it was Lisa? Okay, yeah,
Yeah, it was Lisa, yeah.
yeah.
August,
Find out what the date is.
August 9 to 11.
August 9th, 11th.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's the same weekend we're in Mount Carlton.
Yeah.
That's funny. I've always wanted to go down there for that, and it's always been the Mount Carlton Star Party. It always seems to land because obviously they're planning the same moon as we are.
Of course, yeah.
We're in, I think that's new moon, isn't it, for us?
It's pretty, yeah.
It is, yes.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why we're, yeah. At Mount Carlton on a new moon. Wow, it doesn't get
Yeah.
better than
No, that's right. Yeah. August 9th, 11th. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's when you want to plan them. Like Paul said, the RAS star party for August 9th, 11th is around new moon phase. So that's when you're going to get your darkest sky.
Yeah.
And that's what you want if you're going to go to the darkest spot. So, for sure.
Yeah, or even if you've got just like a 7-day or even a couple day old moon, it's
Mm.
kind of nice to look at it as the sun goes down because it's still visible in the twilight, and
Yeah.
it'll here before the sky gets dark anyway, so.
Right, yeah, great for the kids. Okay, let's move on then to vinyl bud.
Okay, let me shove this one.
We're gonna run a little bit long tonight, folks, just to
Sure.
let you know, so.
Well, it's the last one.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
summertime.
it can be long.
See if I can get
Uh,
around
If
this.
you don't like it, well, then you'll have to wait till September to join us again.
Yeah, new moon is on Wednesday, the 7th,
Right on.
Wednesday the 7th, okay, yeah, so we'll set early then.
or the 6th, I think. Yeah. My eyes aren't so good in this light, but
Alrighty, binocular target. How did you get in my way? Binocular target of the week this week by Bino Bud is. Now, this is different than what you might think. This one's called Carolyn's Rose Cluster. Now, you might think that's in the wrong part of the sky because there is something else out there called Carolyn's Rose, but this one might throw you a little bit. This one here that we're looking at is NGC 7789, or Carolyn Rose Cluster, Carolyn's Haystack, or the White Rose Cluster. It's an open cluster in Cassiopeia and was discovered by Carolyn Herschel in 1783. This cluster is known as the White Rose Cluster or Carolyn's Rose Cluster because seen visually, the loops of stars in dark lanes look like swirling patterns of rose petals as seen from above. So how would I find it in the sky? Well, on a nice clear night, and I think you might get lucky tonight, go out at 2300 or 11 o'clock at night and look up, orient yourself at 150 degrees east-southeast and go up and look for that W of Cassiopeia. And what I call the straight edge, you got the night, like you have the crooked part of Cassiopeia, and then you got a 90 degree on the other side of the W. Go to that top star, and just off to the right, you're going to find Carolyn's Rose Cluster. A little closer look, there's that W, and this is what I call the straight edge. There's Carolyn's Rose Cluster right off that top star. What does it look like? Well, if you were to have a chance to photograph it, look at that nice, beautiful, tight cluster. There's a lot of stars around it, but that group just stands out against the rest of the stars in the background sky. 10 by 50 binoculars, nice big target, easy to see, real easy to pick off on its own. Compared to the full moon, it's a little bit bigger than a full moon in size. So again, an easy target in binoculars. I think you'll get up there when you swing a little bit to the right off of Cassiopeia. You're going to see it. You're going to go, whoa, that is cool. It stands right out. And here we go. What does the solar system keep his pants up with? The asteroid belt. Oh, come on.
Oh,
That's binocular target of the week by Bino Bud.
oh man, you kept me in suspenders on that one.
See if I can unzoom somehow. How do I get this?
Oh my gosh, that's
oh,
Get rid of that.
there he's back.
Pull this over
Mike,
here. I got too many screens.
Carolyn's Rose Cluster.
players. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that cluster actually around that target.
I'll be looking at it tonight, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you know what? That'll look really nice in a 8-inch telescope, won't it?
There you go. You'll be out looking too.
Yes, sir.
All right. How about we move on to Rosanna's fun fact next?
All right, I'm just trying to find it. Yeah, it came today and it was kind of defragmented, so I'm gonna have to start on one page and then go to the other, hopefully. So just bear with me while I find it because it got sent, but it didn't get opened but one part, so then she had to send it again. And then so the first section came and then the second section came and it was just and I'm still trying to straighten it out. So just bear with me for a second. I can't find the first part now. Okay, so let me just close that part. Try that again. Okay, do I have it here? Yeah, I think I have it here. Okay, good. So I'm gonna shrink that down. Okay, I'm
We're gonna
ready.
come back with some in-between music at some point.
Yeah. All right.
There we go.
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey, welcome back, Rosanna, for the final fun fact of this season. And so I got to say, I'm going to miss these fun facts over the summer. And but I'm sure Rosanna's going to have an awesome summer. Give her some time off. She certainly deserves it more than anybody with all the work that she puts into these. So again, we want to thank her ever so much for these absolutely wonderful fun facts. And speaking of which, I'm just trying to find the first page of the fun fact she sent me. Here it is. Okay, so let's get right into this fun fact tonight. So Rosanna writes, hi, Paul, one thing that study of astronomy helps to develop in those who study it is the capacity for abstract visualization. Astronomers staring at the heavens naked eye or through telescopes must develop the ability to visualize and imagine the vastness of the heavens and the positions of the planets. At first, when we look at the night sky, it can seem like every star and the planet is next door to each other, and the true depth and distance between it is actually millions of light years. Now, this knowledge can be hard and an abstract concept to visualize. Our brains can be tricked and hard to convince of what we know to be specifically true. Now, let me get the photos up here. There we go. So here's the first one. So in April of this year, an international team of researchers created the largest 3D map of our universe to date. If you go to their webpage, you will be greeted with a running planetarium film, putting you in the midst of the universe and its galaxies fly by. Now here's a little slice of that map. And I'm going to actually make this just really big so that you can see this, because this is actually quite incredible. So here's the slice of their map. So you want to make this as big as possible. So Earth is at the center of this thin slice of the full map, and the magnified section shows underlying structure of matter that's in our universe. Now, each dot is a different galaxy, similar in size to our own Milky Way. And this image was done by Claire Lamon for collaboration, and custom color map packaged by C. Mastro. So that is absolutely amazing. So you're looking at galaxies here, not stars. That's unbelievable. So just visualizing or imagining the universe is often not enough. So although we can see in 3D, where we parked our car. We can't see in 3D how far away, there we go, get this great again, there we are, how far we are away from Venus, or how far away Venus is from the sun. We have to visualize space distances in reference to how our brains understand previously known distances. Now, humans have always desired to turn what we see into 2D into something to hold in our hands or have some other tactile, tangible result. Historical models of the solar system first appearing during prehistoric periods. The models of the solar system throughout history were first represented in the early form of cave markings and drawings, calendars, and astronomical symbols. Then books and written records became the main source of information that expressed the way that people of time imagined and thought about our solar system. So around 500 BC, an astronomer named Anaximander, I'm going to call him, came up with this model. So he was the first to conceive a mechanical model of the world. In his model, the Earth floats very still in the center of the infinite, not supported by anything. Its curious shape is that of a cylinder with a height 1/3 of its diameter. The flat top forms the inhabited world, which is surrounded by circular oceanic mass, and humans crave physical items that they can touch. So the Greeks took the idea of a physical solar system and created various planetaria. So that was the first one that this person came up with. So the above picture, this picture you're looking at now, of the Athanasius Kircher's reconstructed of the sphere of Archimedes, imitating the motion of the planets with the aid of magnets. Very cool. Now, this other one right here, I'm going to show you, is another version of planetaria. Oh, there we go. So again, this is all this mechanical things that people were trying to make so they could animate what was going on in the solar system. And after just a few weeks ago, we introduced to the ancient Antikythera instrument, but as time passes, the desire to create tangible objects of what we can imagine only grows and leads to amazing inventions. In 1704, a planetarium was built by the clockmakers George Graham and Thomas Topian. Now I'll give you a look at those dudes. And there's Charles Boyd Earl of Orrery. I'm going to say Orrery because it's fun to say. One of the earliest models and things catching on the way they do, the item be called the orrery. The word orrery is now defined in the dictionary as an apparatus for representing the positions, motions, and phases of the planets, satellites, etc., in the solar system. And the other number 2 they have on it is any of a certain similar machines, such as a planetarium. So now just give me a second. I have to go to section 2 of this, which is the other side of the page. Way up high. There I am. Okay. So now one of the earliest models and things catching on the way they do, the item called the orrery, the word, okay, I've already read that. That was in the second part of the page. My apologies. So here is a picture of one of several grand orreries in the Whipple Museum in Cambridge, United Kingdom. So you can see that that's quite a build when you look at all of what's going on with what they had to put that together. So there's one. Here's another one. So again, it's a very complicated mechanical device that's going on there to get all of these things to spin in relation to one another. And yet here's another one again. Just like that little small guy right there. So in 2020, my grandchildren and I were big into making rocker models of all sorts of things. My project room has many projects and still on the go. Well, I could always work at the kitchen table. How many of us have rooms like this? And a few weeks ago, I noticed a project still on the shelf was a musical orrery. So construction has begun. So this is her musical. Oh, what happened there? You can't show that photo. Why not? Uh-oh. Try this out this way, maybe. Won't show the photo. Okay, so anyway, so what I don't wonder how I can show that. Just give me a second here. Photos. I'm supposed to see that one. Where is it? I don't see it here. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna bring that up. Desktop. Oh, and see if that pops up. No, it didn't pop up. Darn. Okay, so basically what she was showing in this photo, for some reason I can't get it to come up. Let me just try the next. Yeah, no, it won't come up. So was a whole new musical orrery. So she had on display the contents of the box, the diagrams, and how to put it all together. So this next photo that you're looking at is, sadly, this is the level of progress thus far. So that's actually Rosanna, and she's got her musical orrery kind of put together to a point, and she's still working away at it. And whether this falls into the great minds category or fools seldom differ, one of our members just completed building his own fabulous orrery. And this is Kurt's stunning orrery completed just last week. And we actually got to see that. There you go. Congratulations, Kurt, on putting that together. Wow. Unbelievable. So if you are looking for a little something to do on a Sunday night, on Sunday nights while Snaz takes a wee vacation, there is a free 3D printer PDF for creating your own orrery on indestructibles.com. And so how hard can it be? There's your diagram. And that is this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Oh,
amazing. Yeah. I find it hard to even say the word, let alone build one.
Yeah, and they're intricate little pieces of equipment, and no question.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine the patience that you would need to put one of those together.
Yeah.
and how they built them back in the day when they actually started building them. It's just unbelievable.
To get them all proper. Yeah.
Yeah, so that everything moves the way that it should move.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about, I think Kurt showed us off air last week
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but I didn't quite realize until this fun fact exactly what they were. I kind of looked at it a little bit, but now that I understand what it is, that's quite a feat, I must say.
Yeah. Keep at it. Keep at it, Rosanna. You got time now to finish yours. Okay. Let's get quickly to some photos, and thank you very much, Rosanna, for that fun
Yes, thank
fact.
you.
Nice to get you a little bit of a break, hopefully.
Yes.
Okay, let me see if I can get this opened up here. Open up. I just got a few photos to share, and then I got a few facts to share after that.
All right.
And then we'll close out the show after that. First up is I got to share my screen. Let's go with this one. There. First up is
Before I forget to don't let me forget about the little poem thing.
yeah. Okay. Do you want to do that right after photos then?
Yeah.
Okay. So David Smart sent this. I get this one from David. Last night's marathon for me, he says the sky was surprisingly clear. M3, the Pac-Man comet. Comet 14P. The moon that cut the observation, and a new comet for me, very, very small, C 2023 S3. So we'll see that, I think, in a second. Here's some other captures of his as well.
Oh, Pac-Man.
281, yeah.
Yes, sir. M13 probably. Oh,
M3.
Three.
M3.
Yeah.
3.
Messier objects, so nice moon capture. And he said a new comet for me, very small. Must be in here somewhere.
I see it right in the center, dead center.
Oh, dead center right there.
Yeah, your hands on it now. Yeah.
So he says C 2023 S3. So
Right on.
nice.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, David. From there, we're going to go to Robert Cadet's captures, NGC 889 and 884, the double cluster in Perseus.
There you go.
They are nice. They're beautiful clusters to even with binoculars. They're very, very pretty.
Yeah, dark enough skies. It's a nice naked eye target to look at too.
Right, exactly. Used the C Star S50, 6 minutes and 10 seconds exposure. 6 minutes of 10-second exposure, sorry. Processed in serial and Photoshop, added spikes just to see how it looked.
Right on.
It's okay.
Well, yeah.
Here's his NGC 281 Pac-Man Nebula, 27 minutes of 10-second exposures. Then the clouds rolled in at 2:30 a.m., he said. Serial and Photoshop for processing.
There you go.
And another here, Messier 8, the Lagoon Nebula. That's down in the Sagittarius area.
Yeah.
C Star S50 Hubble palette, processed in serial and Photoshop, 6 minutes of 10-second exposures.
Nice. Nice piece of the sky.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And M20, the Trifid Nebula. That's another one down in that same area of the sky. 2 hours and 40 minutes of 10-second exposures, serial and Photoshop for editing. And then finally, the OWL and ET cluster. Or OWL or ET.
Wally.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Look at that. So let's see who can pick him out, because that's what he looks like in the telescope. There's his eyeballs, here's his neck, and here's his arms outstretched to give you a big hug.
Yeah.
We were trying to get that last night in a phone for somebody.
Yeah.
It was hard, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
Kids love that one for sure.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Robert. Gonna go from there to Duckman Arsenault's captures here of the full moon.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Over Fort Howe, July 21st, he says. So
Very nice.
That was awesome.
very nice job. There's another one. No, this third one, he says, this is a man's head photobombing the picture. So does that mean to make him the man in the moon? I suppose. we could call it that if you like. There you go. All right. And if you have photos to share, hang on to them, because we're coming back in mid-September, and we'd love to share them on our broadcast. So please consider that. Hang on to your photos and send them in.
Hey, we should have lots when we come back.
Good.
Yes.
We should. We hope you will. There. Okay. So Paul, did you want to share a poem with us?
Yeah, so what it is, I'm just going to look up his name here. I'm trying to get this so I can see it, because I got to look at another screen. So just bear with me for a second here. So this fella, not too worried, because if it is, I won't be able to read it. Okay, I'm just going to read a couple of them because these are actually quite wordy, and they're a lot wordier than I thought they'd be. I'm just trying to find his name. Anyway, one of the fellows I play in a group with, he is part of a poetry group, and so they write poems. So this guy that he was telling me about this morning wrote poems on each of the planets, and so I thought I'd just read a couple of them, and it's just his abstract interpretation of what came out of him as he was writing about the planet. So starting with Mercury, he says, Mercury's smallest and fastest, 88 days from New Year's until New Year's Eve. Mercury moves really fast. It's fast from the sun, not last. Venus is smaller than my favorite planet, Earth, and rotates backwards even through its own sister. Its heat would leave a blister. Earth is the center no matter where it exists. Nothing else matters. None of the planets have worth to anyone else but us. Angry red planet, half Earth size, twice its folklore named by the Romans. Jupiter is big, 300 Earths to match it, twice larger than all Jupiter's year is 12 Earths, but half days as its curse. Saturn is a goofy thing, a little ball with a pretty ring. There are facts that I should bring, but instead let me sing. What has got 82 moons, inspires Saturnalia tunes, most made of hydrogen, and this poem has to end. That's what Bill Schott had posted. This fellow's name was Bill Schott in a page called Fan Story, Fanstory, Fan Story. And then he's got a couple of others I'll just read briefly because they're kind of too wordy to take up too much time, but I want to go back to Earth again. So this was a question to him, I guess. He said, hi, Bill. This was from my friend to the fellow who wrote this. I wondered what you'd have to say about Mother Earth. I think it was the ancient Greeks who believed that Earth was the center of the whole lot, the moon, the sun, the planets, and a billion shiny stars. Later on, people decided that the sun was the center of the universe. But when other galaxies were discovered, that theory went out the window. With the relationship that most people believe in between Earth and heaven, whether that be holy place, wherever that holy place is, our planet does seem to grow in importance, doesn't it? Nothing else matters. So we go on fighting amongst ourselves. It's really sad when you think about it. It's war. It's stupid. But even our solar system is so spread out, space travel is next to impossible when you consider the distance and time to get to any other worthy planet. Even setting out on a huge spaceship with a limited crew and passenger list is a guessing game. Is any other planet fit for life? And if it's waiting there and we can reach another Earth, I think we should call it Hope. And this is nice, Tanka Bill, on to Mars. And then he goes on to other things. But this is the fellow that I play in the group with. He also is an amateur astronomer, but he's also a poet. So he looks at things a lot differently than we would, more like almost like Renat would. And but they put things down. They're wordsmiths, so they put them in words. So I just thought I'd read that because we're starting to exit for our vacation. That I thought it'd be fitting to read that, so I want to read that for Kim.
Okay.
So thank you, Kim, for sending that in.
Yes, thank you, Kim.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Food for thought.
Food for thought.
Words for thought.
Words for thought. You always do that under the skies anyway.
Well, that's it. And what Rosanna said is true too about having to have imagination. So for those guys or girls and families that are going out there over the summer, use your imagination. You don't have to necessarily be bred into the constellations that we see. Try to make up some of your own. Just go out there and look at some stars and say, oh, that pattern looks like and that could be your very own little asterism or constellation or whatever you want it to be. So, there are things you can look at and follow, but also use your imagination because you can see things in your own mind that other people can't. And the only way to do that is to look up at the sky.
Right. And hope you have clear nights, because we should have.
Have clear nights.
I bet it'll be clear every night now, right up till our showtime again. Well, I think that we're running out of time here, so I think we'll call that a show for tonight.
All right.
All right, so that's our show for this evening. Then reminder too that we will be coming back to you on September the 15th. That's when we'll be back. And so we hope you'll come and join us then. In the meantime, get out underneath those dark skies and take a look up and then sit in awe at the wonder that's laid out at your feet every night just for free.
Oh, before we go too, I just want to say from all of us, thank you for whoever's out there that watches us and watches the program and participates. We really appreciate all of you. There's not one that we don't appreciate. So thank you for doing that. And also I want to say thank you to Kurt and Rosanna for coming on and being part of this show. They should be up there with us in these pictures, and maybe in the new year we'll make that happen. Mike's been making that happen for us. So that's been fantastic. So thank you to you guys especially for being part of this with us, because really they are part of this the SNAS group as well.
Absolutely. And a big thank you to Rogers as well for their community channel for picking us up and sharing it with their audience as well. It's been a great pleasure to be able to bring that to them as well. So yeah, I mean, we're looking forward to a little bit of a break here, and we're going to come back refreshed and available for all of your comments and questions again as we approach those moments back up in September. So
yeah, and if they're also, Chris, too, if you have some things you would like to see us cover in the fall, some things you want to see, maybe even if you want to see some live observings, because we'll be back into the weather, where our show will be on. It should be dark. So if you want to see some of that stuff, if there's just things you want to
why we started the show many moons ago.
we started it for to begin with.
Yeah, that's right. It was all
or
about
some equipment. Maybe we'll start to do some equipment, maybe not so much reviews, but keep you aware of what's out there. I mean, with all the onslaught of the camera eyepieces and these automatic telescopes, sea stars, and the what's the other one that David has?
Dwarf.
Yeah, the dwarf, and the Celestron has a more of a high-end one, and I think that's the way the future is. That's the way it's going to be. So we're going to start looking at some of that stuff as well, and making you aware of what's out there, and we'll maybe go over some reviews, what people thought of them and how they work them. And of course, we have some people obviously on the show that we draw from the show that have those. So maybe we'll get one of them people on to talk about their how they worked with theirs and how they like it and so on. And
absolutely,
that.
And hey,
special guest along the way. Yep. Hi.
Have a great summer.
There.
Yes. Yes.
Have a great summer. You've got 6 weeks before we're back again. So, and we will be looking forward to it. So again, thank you to all who share our program out there. Trudy has been amazing. She shares it, I don't know, 50, 75, 100. She should be part of the thank you as well, of course, because she does a lot of sharing for us. Thank you, Trudy, for all you do for us. I too, remember, we do love getting your photos, so save those photos through the summer. Don't send them in now because I'll forget all about them. Just save them for maybe a few days before we start back up again. I'll put a notice up that we're going to be starting back up, and send them into astronomybythebay@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to put them up on our broadcast. And a special thanks, of course, goes out again to Rogers for joining us again this evening. So until September, wishing all of you clear skies. Get out there and enjoy those skies. As we like to say, guys, open your eyes to view the skies and keep your scopes pointed up. Good night, everybody. Oh, hang on. We can't go say good night yet. You know what?
What'd you forget?
I had a presentation ready to go.
And we're back.
And we're back. Yeah, here we go.
Oh,
you guys talk amongst yourselves here for a second while I try to get the closing thing.
We say, don't blink, you'll miss us. Well, guess what? We're back.
Oh, I think we can go now. Yeah, I think we're ready now. Here we go.
All right, there you go.
All right. So thanks, everybody, and take care. Have a great summer. We'll see you all again in September.